This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, just one more time. Can you confirm you're seeing the how to host an open house slide on the screen?
Yes.
All right, fantastic. Well, welcome everybody. I know it is difficult sometimes to get up and get going on a cold and snowy day in Houston, but a number of you joined me this morning on the Texas State meeting at 9 o'clock. So I know you are fresh and ready to go. Today, we're talking about open house in only our third session of Fast Track because open houses are so important to helping us meet new people, which we can convert into clients and then ultimately into sales. One of my core beliefs going back many, many years is that we should open the door every day to new relationships. Now, we love our friends and family that we know right now. Folks, old friends are the best friends, but this is business. And regardless of the size of your sphere, if you're going to stay fresh and continue to grow your business, you have to do that by opening the door to new relationships, by meeting new people. And frankly, I don't know of a better opportunity for meeting new people who we know have a real estate need than at an open house. I'm convinced you can make a six-figure income in this business if you simply mastered doing open houses and held two or three of them open every week. You can do four open houses on a weekend. So I'm not exaggerating. Do two or three a week and you can build a six-figure income very quickly just from open houses. So what I'm going to be sharing with you today, and there's a lot of content, I'm going to warn you, a lot. But I'm going to walk through the selection of an open house, how to find the right one, how to promote it, what to say, how to stay safe, and then how to follow up with folks after they leave the open house. Ultimately, what we're going to learn is how to make money from open houses. So let's talk about the very first issue that sabotages a lot of agents, which is choosing the wrong open house. Because the truth is, some are more attractive than others. Some are going to attract a lot more people than others. And so it's critical that you give attention to the selection process. So, right up front, I want to share that if you're looking for open house opportunities, there is a group on Workplace. In fact, this screenshot I snipped out just moments ago when I was in Workplace. And this is specifically for open house opportunities in Houston. So this will apply to everybody in our group, regardless of where you're at in the metro area. You can go into Workplace, search open house opportunities. And if you're looking for one, this would be a great place. All right. So finding the right home to host open. I have a number of criteria that are going to impact your likelihood of success. First and foremost, is that home in your geofarm? Remember that the benefit of an open house is not just to sell that house. It's not even just to meet new people whom you might be able to represent in the purchase of a different house, but it is to become the king or queen of your neighborhood. And an open house does that. Even though the vast majority of people are not going to attend your open house in your neighborhood, they're all going to see your signs. If you follow our strategy and you blanket the neighborhood with branded directional signs, every Saturday, every Sunday, they're going to see your name, hopefully your picture, your face on that sign. Eventually, they're going to understand you own that neighborhood. So whenever possible, you want to host in your geo farm. Second, these are just things that make a home attractive: a good school district, a desirable neighborhood, something with good curb appeal. I know that when I have been shopping for a home with my wife in the past, we pull up to the curb. If she looks out and she doesn't like the way that looks from the front of the house, we don't even get out of the car. We just keep going. So good curb appeal. It shows well. Once they get inside, it's in good condition. It doesn't smell bad. Maybe it's staged appropriately or furnished nicely. It needs to show well. And I want to say one of the most important aspects on this list is new on the market. I have seen this consistently. When a house first hits the market, the open house crowds are much, much larger. Now, that doesn't mean you can't continue to host on older homes that have been on the market longer, because there are fresh people coming into the market every day. But you will absolutely get your best results with a home that's new on market. And then finally, a home that's easily accessible from the main road. If possible, just 2 or 3 turns off a main road. Because if you're in the way back of the neighborhood, they've got to make 8 or 9 turns in order to get back to you. They might give up en route. They might miss a turn. And I'll tell you what I did on Sunday at my open house in my neighborhood. My wife dropped in to see me, and she said, "You missed putting a sign right at the entrance. I got them in the neighborhood, and they had to turn left or right. I didn't put a directional sign there. I made a mistake." The opportunity for making that mistake increases with the more turns you have. So try to find a home near the front of the neighborhood, close to the main roads. Okay? All right. That's how you find one, the right one. Now, you're going to need to coach your seller, particularly if it's an occupied home, on how to prepare the home for the open house. So let me run through a number of things. But the phrase I use when I'm talking to my sellers is think model home, because they've all been in model homes, a builder model home. That's what we're going for. We're not going to achieve that perfectly if the home is occupied, but that's the look and feel that we're looking for. So here's the list that I give my sellers. Secure all your valuables, firearms, prescription medications. And when I say valuables, I mean breakables, because we're going to have kids in the house, and parents these days don't do a great job of supervising the kids. So secure anything that you're concerned about or that could hurt somebody else. Thoroughly clean and organize each room in the home. Clear the countertops of all unnecessary items. Well, I tell them, when you go in the bathroom, there should be nothing on the counter. Clear it. When they go in the kitchen, nothing on the counter. Maybe a little toaster oven or maybe a little rooster decoration, but it should be think model home. You want to show those countertops, not all the personal property on top of it. And I'm going to pause for just a moment. I'm getting a lot of feedback, which means there's some microphones on. So let me come in here and see if I can mute everybody. Let's see. Mute, mute, mute. Here we go. People. And oh, y'all did a good job. Everybody, you muted yourselves. Well done. Looks
Frank,
like, yes, sir.
Liberty's asking, are the slides supposed to be changing? You haven't changed
Are
them.
they not changing?
Not yet.
You should be seeing Think Model Home right now. What do you see?
We do.
I'm
Can you go
seeing
full screen?
Think model home on mine.
Okay, is anybody seeing anything differently?
Susan says she can't see the slides real well.
We're in
Okay,
presenter view, Frank. Can you go like a slideshow? F5.
yeah, let me slideshow. Here we go.
Go full screen. Where is it?
And
Where's that dang button?
hold on, I think I can do it right here. Ooh, how's that?
Ooh, too big. Bring her back
How's
one.
that?
Close. Yep.
Right there? You like it?
Well, it's still pretty small. You can't make the
Here, I
entire
can make it.
the screen.
Frank,
The
the upper
program.
Frank, on your upper left corner where it says right underneath file, you can click and go into presentation mode, and then we'll. Well, where to go?
Right there, well, there's an icon
file.
on the view.
Where is it?
On the view.
View.
All right, I'm in view, and I've got normal selected.
Okay, another quick one. Down at the bottom, there is a presenter button right next to the Zoom. Yes.
So that's where I was. Is that any better than it was previously?
No,
No,
you were pressing the zoom in, but if you press that icon, it'll put it in presenter mode.
So is it good now?
no.
I can
Oh,
see it. You can zoom in yourself.
Can you?
yeah. See, it's
No.
from my perspective. Let me click this
It's
fit to window. How's
better.
that?
If you zoom in yourself, it's
You
better.
can zoom in yourself. If you look to the right, there should be I didn't see it before, but there's a place where you can zoom in yourself.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, let I apologize for the difficulties. I am in presenter mode on my computer. Um, these slides have already been saved into our um, FastTrack agent folder.
Oh, good.
So they're there right now. So if you would just kind of use what's on screen as a prompt, let me talk you through it, and then all of this will be is available to you to go back if you want to. And I'm going to encourage you how to use these slides at the end. Okay.
Great.
All right.
Thanks.
Clear the bathrooms. Use soap, shampoo bottles, bath toys, toothbrushes, other personal care items out of sight. Again, model home. Nobody lives here. Remove the pets from the property. Don't put them in a kennel, throw a blanket over it, and put them in the utility room. Get them off site. Remove all signs of pets, food bowls, litter boxes, bags of food, etc. Some people cannot stand the thought of moving into a home where there have been animals living inside. So don't give them a reason to object to the home. Declutter the home by packing all unnecessary home items into boxes and putting them in the garage. And the objection I hear is, well, then the garage will be cluttered. Buyers don't mind that.
Yeah.
They know you're moving, so you're moving anyway. Get everything you can packed and out there that's unnecessary. Remove any personal items that could be offensive to potential buyers. Um, I'll just give you one example. I had a good friend from church, no less, who loved to take nude photos of his family members.
Mm.
I should say his wife, and post them around his house. And he was very proud of them. When you'd come to his house, he'd show you his wife's photos. But anyways, anything that could be offensive, take them down. Replace burned out light bulbs, remove dishes from the sink, and assure that the landscaping is looking good. Okay. And I'm going to share this at the end, but this is a list you want to actually give to your sellers so that they can go and check it down and make sure that they're ready.
Frank?
Now, to make sure you're ready, I'm going to recommend that you have an agent toolkit. And by the way, on Thursday, I'm going to bring mine into class. We'll meet in person, and I'm going to show you exactly how I organize and have all this. So I am literally ready. You could stop me on the street at Home Depot and say, Frank, let's go host an open house. And I could go straight there from the store with you and have everything ready. So I'll show you how easy it is. But
Frank?
well, here's the list of stuff that you need to get. And I've had to purchase some of this recently. In fact, I ordered a collapsible broom yesterday. Here's the list, and I'll go over it. Collapsible broom and dustpan, Febreze, a tube of graphite, your open house directional signs, refreshments, bottled water, and hard candy. It says as a minimum, that's really a maximum. Don't do any more than bottled water and hard candy. Your property flyers, 10 sets of MLS printouts on 5 comparable homes, because the likelihood is they're not going to buy this home, but this home is similar to what they're looking for. They wouldn't have showed up there. So you want to have comparable homes available for them to see. Enough flyers with information about the home and your contact info to give to each attendee. And by the way, I have just started using Alpha Graphics for this, and I should pick up my first set of flyers on 2 of my listings tomorrow. But they have a deal. They'll give you 25 11 by 17, so it's 4-page full-size, full-color brochures for $35. So it works out like $1.25 a piece. And they pull the photos from the MLS, property description from the MLS, but it makes a really nice professional look for the property. A copy of the seller's disclosure, your laptop computer, an iPad or phone with the KV Core Open House registration app on it, pepper spray on a keychain, a welcome, come on inside sign to place either outside the front door if it's a big sign, or I recently got some that I actually stick on the door handle that says welcome, come on in. Because even though you've got 1,000 open house signs out there, if the front door is shut, a significant percentage of people are going to knock or ring the doorbell. So I always just put that come on in sign there. Business cards and personal brochures. This is stuff you should have on you, except for the property specific information. Your personal brochures, your business cards, your computer, your open house directional signs, graphite, Febreze, broom, all that should be ready to go at any time. And until today, this list said a little whisk broom and dustpan, but I held an open house yesterday that one of our agents held open on Saturday and mentioned to me that there were leaves all over the house. It was vacant. Leaves had blown in. So I went to that house on Sunday, and sure enough, leaves all over the porch, leaves in the rooms. They've been tracked through the house. And I didn't want to get my little whisk broom and bend over all over the house sweeping that stuff up. So I went on to Amazon and ordered a collapsible broom. It takes up just as much room as the whisk broom, but I can extend it to full size and be ready to go. All right. Now, don't forget, in this brave new world, you need buyer's rep agreements. I use the short form and an IABS. I have 5 to 10 of these with me in my open house kit so that if I talk to a buyer and they want to go look at homes right then, and this happens, it happened to me 2 weeks ago, I can pull out the buyer short form and the IABS and get legal with them. In fact, this has happened to me twice in the last 2 months where I've had to have those forms on site to be legal to go show them homes. So, and I'll show you on Thursday how I store mine so they don't get all wrinkly or wet or damaged by keeping them with me all the time. But you've got to have those with you and ready to go. All right. And if it's your listing that you're hosting, make sure that you've got your display book on site that contains all the information that people are going to be asking about the home. This is particularly important if it's your listing and there's another agent holding it open for you. They're going to be asked all kinds of questions about the home, and you want to make it easy for them to answer them. So I recommend a 3-ring binder with a clear cover, and then you slide the property flyer right down on that front cover so people know what that's about. Inside, you put a copy of the survey, the seller's disclosure, what the seller most likes about the home, if they've done any upgrades, if they've replaced the hot water heater, if they've put in new granite countertops. You want to list all the upgrades and amenities they've made since they've owned the home and the year that they made them. Include copies of the HOA docs, because I guarantee you people are going to be asking, am I allowed to have chickens? Am I allowed to park my RV in the driveway? So have those available. And then if it's your listing and you've used a professional photographer, I am now asking my photographer to provide me with floor plans. It's just a minimal upgrade, $35, $40. But it gives you floor plans of every floor of the home with dimensions of the room, and my buyer prospects find that very helpful. All that should be in the display book if this is your listing. All right, now we're ready. The seller's ready. We've picked the house. How do we promote it to assure that people show up? Let me run through this with you. Install a
Can
time.
you advance the slides for us? We're still on Think Model Home.
Yeah, I am advancing the slides. I don't know why it's not following. Let me go back to my share. I don't know why we're having so many troubles. with these slides? It says I'm sharing. My slide says make sure people show up. What are y'all seeing?
Yeah, it just changed though.
It just did. Okay. All right.
Everything you were
Well,
talking about, it was still on Think Model Home.
okay. Well, I'll try to hop in and out of it and see if that helps. Here we go. Oh, let me get back to my slides. All right. Making sure people show up. I will bring samples of this to class on Thursday. But these are big coroplast signs, 24 by 30. You put on the little wire hangers, and you put it in the front yard of the home about 3 days prior to the open house. And it just simply says, open Sunday, 1 to 3 p.m., or open Saturday, 2 to 4 p.m. I have 4 of those, 2 for Saturday, 2 for Sunday. One says 1 to 3, the other says 2 to 4. So if you know that you're hosting an open house on this listing every doggone week until it sells, then you can leave that time sign with the homeowner and then just ask them to put it in their yard every Wednesday or Thursday as appropriate, to boost some interest in the house before the open house. Create an ad on your Facebook business page and then boost the ad at least 5 days prior to the open house. At least 5 days, because it will take a day or two for Facebook to pick up that boost. Or what I'm doing, I'm using the KV Core Property Boost, and I'm doing that ad on Tuesday. I'm doing the 3-day ad. It starts running Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So it runs the 3 days before. I ran it on both my listings last week, and I promoted that they were each open Saturday and Sunday, 1 to 3. I got over 1,000 views on each ad and generated 4 to 5, I think 4 actual leads on one where they input their information and 5 on the other. The cost on that has gone up to $59.95. So I don't know that I'm going to do it every time. This last weekend was a little odd with the threat of weather. People were already starting to hunker down. They closed the airport on Sunday. Is weird stuff. But I'm going to do it again and then see if I think it's worth it to pay the $60. You could pay much less than that on your own ad and boost it and try that. The evening before the morning of the open house, hand deliver invitations to the open house to the nearest 50 homeowners. You want to allow at least an hour to do this, because if it's good weather, you're going to run into some of these homeowners in the driveway or in the yard, and they're going to strike up a conversation. But what you're trying to do is just get them to come see their neighbor's house. They're curious. They don't have to be in the market to buy, but you're establishing relationships and your credibility as an agent who really serves their sellers. And then here we go. I know I sound like a broken record, but at least 10 open house directional signs leading from the entrance to the neighborhood back to the open house. And if you're near a major street, like my Geo Farm is near 242 and I-45, I go all the way out to 242 and start with my directional signs there, lead them back to the neighborhood, and then in and to the house. Okay. All right. I've changed the slide to power tip. You guys seeing that?
No.
Oops.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna keep switching back and see if this helps. And should see power
Now
tip.
we do see
Okay.
it.
That's weird. I'm just switching back and forth and it comes back. Okay. It's really easy to put these directional signs in the ground right now in Houston because the ground is wet. But I've been doing this enough years to know June, July, August get here and the ground is like concrete. Well, I figured out something years ago. It's been a lifesaver for me. And I would suggest you tuck this little power tip away. Get yourself a cordless grill with a long drill bit, like 12 inches long. And then just drill the holes right into the ground for your little directionals. You just need to drill in about 8 inches. And I don't care how hard the ground is, this power drill will just zip right through it. And then you drop your sign in. Otherwise, you're trying to push those signs in the ground and you're just going to bend the legs every which way and tear up your signs. Somebody's
I
laughing.
did that in Cleveland, and that never stayed. Did
Yes.
that in Cleveland, and I almost passed out in the heat, so it's not worth it.
Yeah. So just do that. I put out flags for my neighborhood every patriotic holiday. They give me about 150 flags, and man, I just take my little drill bit. I don't care what the ground is, and I can just zip them right in. So very, very helpful. Okay. Now I stayed in this mode. Can you see agent preparation now?
Yes.
A little dead roach.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to stay in this view then.
That happened to me too.
The dead roach. I thought I had one
Yes.
on Sunday. It turned out to be a wasp, but I did go get that little whisk broom and whisk him up. So here you go. This is making sure that you are ready to open the home. So you want to arrive early enough to install your directional signs, and I usually allow about a half hour for that. So if the open house is at 1 o'clock, I want to be on site at 12:30 putting out my signs, because that'll take 15, 20 minutes. And then I want to be at the house 10 to 15 minutes before it opens, because I've got to get the house ready. So I walk every room in the house to assure that everything is in show condition. You don't want unflushed toilets or someone's dirty clothes out or the can of roach spray sitting on the counter. You want to, if you need to take care of business, take care of business. If you note any
Hey, Frank,
yes.
I want to say that you saw the roach, right? When I went to do mine, there was roaches, and
Yes.
I don't know when the family had cleaned the house. So do you suggest, like, from now on I'm just going to go to the house first? I don't want any surprises 30 minutes before. So
Yes.
I'm going to go before I do the directionals from now on. But do you suggest, like, if they're going to do showings, should we ask the family? Because sometimes I get showings like an hour before.
Yes.
And so I don't know what to do because I can't run out there. Should I just tell the family to try to keep it up maybe a week before, or like a few days out of the week, or what do we do? Or are we responsible for cleaning the house?
So no, it's the seller's responsibility to always have the home ready. But
Okay.
the, if it's a vacant home,
Yeah.
it's a little more challenging. That's when the roaches sneak in and die and the leaves blow in and things like that. But if it's an occupied home, you want to go over that list with them and make sure they understand. But it's not your job to go in and clean it. I'm really
Yeah.
talking about little things that you see, like oh no, that you can fix easily.
This is a vacant one, so that's why I'm trying to tell them that, we're going to be getting more and more showings, and they really have to keep it up. But I don't know how often they do it. I don't know if it's asking too much. So even if it's a vacant home, I can ask them to clean it at least once a week.
Well, ask them to check it once a week. It probably doesn't need cleaning that often, but this is, stuff is going to happen. Wasps, roaches, bugs. So just be prepared with your little whisk broom so it's not a nasty. It's easily fixed that way.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Sweep up or clean up any small items as needed. I'll give you another example. I walked one of my homes last week, and there was a big pile at the back door, right on the door frame. It looked like termite frass. In fact, I took a picture and I sent it to my inspector. He said, no, it looks like carpenter ants. But I went ahead and swept it all up with my whisk broom again and cleaned it up prior to the showing. So just keep your eyes open for stuff like that. Turn on soft instrumental music. I say the home's television or sound system. I don't do that. I just use my laptop computer, and I find a nice light jazz video or something on YouTube and play that. I do pull up the homes listing on the MLS on my computer, just so that I'm on HAR, and if they have any need for a different home to look at, I can easily find some comps for them right there. It's ready to go. This is very important. Review the listing information, even if it's your own listing. Go over the listing detail again. They're always going to ask you, what's the square footage? What year was the home built? What school district is it in? Excuse me. Review the seller's disclosure. We'll take a drink. Okay, thank you. So that you know the age of the roof, the age of the hot water heater, that kind of stuff. Some of these things you can't all memorize, but those basics you should have top of mind, ready to go. Now, safety precautions: unlock every exterior door, front door, back door, side door. If there's a gate into the backyard, go open it. Make sure you can open it and leave it open. And that's just so that you don't get trapped in the house. You don't want somebody cornering you. You want easy egress out of the house at every possible option. Turn on every light in the house. Set the AC or the heat to a comfortable temperature, and then keep the front door locked until you are ready to let people in. You don't want people coming in and surprising you. They're probably just going to be buyers, but it could be worse. Okay, so this is what you're doing. That 10 to 15 minutes that you're in the house before you open, this is your checklist to make sure that everything is ready. All right, hosting procedures. What do you do as these people start coming into the house? What do you say? I've got several slides on this, so just hang in there with me. I'm trying to move through them pretty efficiently, but there's so much material. That's why I've already given you the slides, and you can easily turn this into your own checklist. But initial contact, I suggest that you position yourself in the heart of the home, which is typically around the breakfast bar, where the kitchen and the family room come together, kind of the middle of the home. As guests come in the front door, welcome them. Hi, I'm Susie with eXp Realty. Welcome to our open house. For security reasons, the seller has asked that all guests complete this brief registration form. And then you can hand them the iPad or your little clipboard. I have both. I was going to try my iPad over the past weekend, but I just didn't do it. I had it with me and just didn't do it. Don't know why. Use the following questions as appropriate to break the ice. Hey, how did you hear about the open house? Typically, it's going to be the signs or they saw it on Zillow, but I like to know, do you currently live in the area? What's prompting your home search? Just something very general to get them talking. I like to give them a flyer. Remember, I printed off about 10 of them. And I'll say there's some basic information about the home on this flyer that you can carry with you as you look at the home. But if there's anything specific that you want to know, I'm going to stay right here so that I'm available to answer your questions when you're done. And they will appreciate you not following them through the house. So then I say, just make yourself at home and explore the home at your leisure. They always appreciate that. And by staying in the middle of the home, not only are you safer in case there is an issue, because you've got multiple options there, but you're also there to greet other people who come in or answer questions for other buyers who are just finishing their tour. So kind of hang out in the middle. Don't follow, don't get trapped. Okay, after they've seen the home, they come back to the middle. I like to ask them just, again, a very general question. Hey, what did you think of the house? Or how does this house compare to what you're really looking for? Or are there any questions that I can answer for you? I'm just trying to be helpful, but non-salesy. I'm just trying to say, get some feedback in a real general, non-pressuring way. Now, if the home is a great match, and you can see their excitement, sometimes they can't contain it. In fact, I had some buyers at an open house 2 weeks ago. They ended up putting a contract on the house. Option period's up tomorrow. but they saw it for the first time at the open house. And they said to me, our goal today is to get you to take that for sale sign out of the yard. So, I mean, that was very clear that they had a very high level of interest. So, if they show enthusiasm like that or give you those buying signals or like, wow, we haven't seen one that's quite this nice, ask them if they'd like to review a market value report to help them in making an appropriate offer. And by that, I mean a CMA. I don't use CMA language with clients because they don't know what that is. So I say a market valuation, and then I can show them the CMA that I have provided on that property. And what I'm doing is using assumptive language that if you're interested in buying it, well, let me counsel you on an appropriate offer to make. Now, if they need to sell their current home before making an offer on this one, you want to get details on their current home. And that's something that you can ask them, well, before you present an offer on this, do you have another home that you need to sell? And what you want to do is say, well, let's make an appointment to go look at your home, and I can give you a really good idea of what it will sell for. And I can also give you a sense of the timing of how long it will take to sell and whether or not we're going to be in a position to put an offer on the home that you're looking at right now. Now, I'm going to say something very controversial. And I've actually lost a friendship over this statement before, which breaks my heart. But I do this, and it helps me. I'm not suggesting that you do it, but at this point, the relationship is not strong, and I'm trying to make it strong. They just met me a few minutes ago. Why would they invite me to their house? So I say something that is guaranteed to get their attention and make myself professionally attractive to them, and it goes like this. Oh, by the way, if it works out that I can represent you in the sale of your home and then assist you in purchasing this home or any other, then I will sell your house for free. And what I mean by that is I will not charge you a listing commission if I can represent you on your new purchase. That almost guarantees that I'm going to get the opportunity. And I say that's controversial because some agents think you should never do that. We're working for free. We're undervaluing our services, et cetera, et cetera. But I know that these buyers coming in, they already know 10 other agents. They may have already made a decision that we're going to work with Susie because she helped us last time. I've got to do something bold to break through that and position myself as the number one agent they want to work with. And I have found that to be very effective. If it offends you, don't use it, but please don't hate me. I hope we can still be friends.
So,
Okay?
Frank,
Yes.
so whenever you're speaking with them about this information, at this point, you're giving them advice, not just your opinion on certain things. So are you presenting the IABS form? You're not their buyer representation or their listing agent. So how can we start, giving them advice at that point whenever technically by law we don't supposed to?
Yeah. So, yes. So we are going to be, uh, I'll be presenting them an IBS and that buyer rep short form. So, yes.
Okay. Okay.
That's correct.
Perfect.
If I'm going to be advising them on an offer on this home, then I absolutely need to be representing them.
So can you tell me what you would say to actually get them to sign the buyer's representation? Because I've had an open house and I have potential listings and potential buying agents or clients, but how do you get them to say, hey, let me represent you
Yeah.
with this particular sale or,
Yes.
you know?
Yes. No, I'll share that with you because it's really not difficult if it's not optional. And so here's how I handle that. And I did this as recently. I said I've done it 2 times in the last 2 months. I'm thinking now the third time, a third guy I did, and this was again 2 weeks ago. But I do it like this. I'm not sure if you follow real estate news, but last August, everything changed in our industry. And now it's actually illegal for me to advise you on the purchase of a home or even to unlock a door and show you a home unless we have a written representation agreement. Now, don't be scared by that. I have a 1-page form, and we can write this any way we want to. In fact, the one that I most recently did, I wrote it for only 24 hours because the guy was a little skeptical. And I said, I'm not asking you to marry me. We're not entering into a long-term relationship here. I can't legally show you. They want to look at 2 other homes without this agreement. I has to have compensation in it. So I'm going to put my fee, 3%. But you'll see it says right here, I'm going to seek that first from the listing broker or from the seller, not from you. And by the way, as I tell any one of my clients, at any time, if you're dissatisfied with my service, you tell me and we'll tear up this agreement. And with that, the legality, I can't do anything without it, and that I'll step away at any time if you don't want to work with me. And I did it for a very limited time period. They don't mind signing it. Do you feel comfortable with that kind of language? Could you do that?
Absolutely. And I really like that approach because I was just wondering, well, I'm pretty sure we're going to get to it in a PowerPoint, but after, like contacting them after the open house to potentially get them as
Yes.
clients. And I really like that approach because now I can possibly say that on the phone
Yes.
with them. So thank
Yes.
you so much.
Yes. Okay. That sounds good. Now, as you're counseling them, you want to ask the question, will you be paying cash or will you be financing any portion of the purchase? That's a nice way to say it. Not have you been pre-approved for a loan or, how much house can you afford? You start with the presumption. Will you be paying cash or will you be financing any portion of the purchase? It's very non-offensive, non-threatening. And if they're financing, then you can ask if they have a pre-approval letter from their local lender. And if not, or even if they do, it doesn't really matter to me. If they say, I've got a Bank of America, I've got a Wells Fargo, I've got, the loan officer down on the corner, I say that's fantastic. I've worked with them many times. It's a great company. However, I've found that my preferred lender consistently beats everybody else on rates and fees. And everybody loves his service. Would it be okay if I had him call you to give you a second opinion? And worst case scenario, he saves you a little bit of money. How's that? They always say yes. So then I've got my lender involved, and you always want your lender, because if it's not your lender, they may not even return your phone calls, and if they're out of town, they may not even care. So whenever possible, you want them working with your lender. Okay. If they indicate yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry. So for the CMAs, should we have the CMAs at the open house, like
Yes.
already sit? Okay. And I had 2 potential clients that actually live out of town. One lives in Dallas and one lives in South Texas. And basically they will be selling their home. So would we just find an agent in that area and refer them?
Yes.
Or okay,
Yes.
perfect.
What I would do is I would go in onto exprealty.com and go to the agent search function, look in the geographic area in which they live, and then scan the profiles and see if you can find someone that you think is going to be a good match with them, or call several and talk to them, actually interview them. And then when you make a recommendation to your client, you can say, I interviewed several agents and I think you'll be very comfortable with this one. I would recommend that you allow me to give them your number and give you a call. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Now, the last bullet point here says if they indicate they're ready to submit an offer, get their legal names and email addresses and write it up. I wrote these words last year or 2 years ago, and I failed to do that recently on a contract, and it really came back to bit me. I got names on the contract, but it was like me, like Frank Gray. My legal name is Franklin Henry Gray Jr., and it caused a problem at the end. We had to redo some documents, and I don't know if it delayed closing, but it was a little bit of a snafu. So I'm reminding myself and you, when you write an offer or a representation agreement, it's best to say it like this. What's the name that is on your driver's license? That's the name that we're going to use on the agreement. And that way you won't have any difficulties because it's their driver's license that the title company is going to use to assure that these people are who they say they are. Okay? That's if it's a great match. What if it's not what they're looking for, which is going to be more typical? No big deal. You just use your general rapport skills. Well, tell me what you're looking for. What about this home was not quite right? And then among those 5 comparables that you have, say, you know what? There is one about 3 blocks away or in the next neighborhood that has a larger kitchen or has a larger backyard, or it's not a corner lot. And perhaps you'd like to see it and show them either online or in print what it was. If they're excited and they're motivated, I would literally shut down the open house and go show it to them right then. Or if you're within 15 or 20 minutes, you say, hey, we shut down at 3 o'clock. Would it be okay if I went ahead and scheduled an appointment now and showed it to you at 3? But if you've got a couple hours left and they're a hot prospect, I would close down the open house and go show it to them, because again, the whole purpose of the open house is to find a buyer. And if you've got one, it's mission accomplished. Don't give them up just to maintain the open house. Okay. All right. If they're not ready to look, so this home is not a great match, but no, we're just looking, we're kicking tires. No problem. Some people do start a home search, like at least going to open houses long before they're ready to do anything. So what I tell them is, as a professional realtor, I have access to every home on the market. And even if you're not ready, let's say you're 6 months out, I think what might be helpful, what my clients have found to be helpful, is if I can get your email address, your phone number, I'll take down exactly what you're looking for. And I will start sending those to you when new homes hit the market that match your criteria. That way, 6 months from now, when it's time to purchase, you will already be very familiar with the neighborhoods that are producing the kind of homes that you like. You're going to know what the price range is on the homes that are the best fit for you. And it will greatly expedite our home search when you're ready. Would that be okay? And again, 90% of the time, they will say yes. And so I just give them a business card. I often call my personal brochure, which is a big honking 11 by 17 thing. I tell them, if they're serious, this is my big business card. And I give them that one. A lot of people don't want it, but if I sense that we have rapport and they're kind of fun, I'll say, here, take the big business card. It's harder to lose.
What is that again? Can you say it again? Because you were breaking out. What is the
Yes,
big business card?
it's my personal brochure, which is an 11 by 17 professionally printed, full color folded document. And I always have that. We're gonna do an entire session on personal brochure in a few weeks, because I think it's so important that everybody have one. And I'll bring mine. It's part of my open house kit, so you'll see it when we get together live on Thursday.
I have a quick question on the
Yes.
slides you just had about the legal name.
Yes.
So my client, my listing client, always went by an AKA,
Yes.
and but then she signed with her legal name. Do I have to redo the documents?
So that's a title company question, but
Okay, I asked them and they
ask
said not
them
to
because
worry
they're the
about it.
ones responsible for preparing the deed. But typically, they will want the contract to match the deed, so that
The
the
final
person who's
contract.
purchasing the home on the contract is the
Okay.
person's same exact name they're putting on the deed.
Oh no, this paperwork is obviously prior to contract. This is not the contract. That's what the title said. Make sure that on the title, I mean on the contract,
That's right.
um, that those documents have to be
That's
exact.
correct. Yes, that's what's
Okay.
important. The sale contract is what must match the driver's license.
How about EXP? Do they give us any issues if that's there, the AKA on the listing agreement?
No, EXP doesn't care because they're not preparing the deed.
Okay.
It's
All
the
right.
title company who's responsible for assuring that the right person who contracted is actually purchasing the home.
Okay.
And so they're the
Thank
ones
you.
that care.
Thanks.
All right. Let's talk about some safety issues for a moment. Can you see that pretty sparkly pepper spray there on the screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. So I'll show you mine again on Thursday. I'll bring mine with me, but I'm going to recommend a number of things, including that you have some pepper spray with you. So here we go. It's best to host with another person when possible, another agent, a family member, a loan officer. It's just always safer to have two people there. I do believe every agent, male or female, should have a pepper spray canister on your keychain and carry it in your hand at all times while you're hosting. Um, I don't recommend you carry a firearm because people are more likely to shoot themselves than anybody else. And if you hide a firearm in your purse or on your ankle, it's very difficult to get to in a rapid situation. But with that pepper spray in your hand, it's very natural. It's on your keychain. You're carrying your keys. You're a realtor. That's what you do. It doesn't draw attention or scare anybody. Um, Unlock every exterior door. We already talked about that. Open the backyard gate. Keep the front door locked until you're ready to open. And then insist that every guest sign in using the registration app, quote, for security reasons. They may still say no, and I don't recommend that you get into fisticuffs with them. If they say no, you just politely acknowledge and let them do their thing, but always ask. Additionally, and I put this item in here after conversations with agents many times who stayed in situations where they shouldn't have. If you're ever uncomfortable for any reason, you get the little heebie jeebies inside, the spidey senses are starting to fire, leave the home immediately. Do not feel like you need to explain, you need to justify. You just leave and call for help. Go get in your car, call a friend, call your spouse to come, or drive away if you need to. Don't ever feel that your professional responsibility is to those people who are scaring you. Just leave. We can replace clients, we can't replace you. Okay. Don't follow guests around the house. Never lead them into a room because then you're easily trapped. Stay in the center of the house with quick access to the front and the back doors. Um, And if someone tries to lure you to another part of the home, say, "Hey, we saw this funky gadget back in the third bedroom and in the attic. Could you tell us what that is?" You just simply say, "You know what? I did not review that with the homeowner, but I'll be happy to do that and get back with you." Don't follow them. And I say this after reading so many stories of agents who've been trapped, and then the aftermath of that, the safety lessons learned, and this is why I keep saying this: don't get trapped in an extreme part of the home. So stay in the center. That's one of the absolute best things you can do. Make sure.
Hey, hey, Frank, I'm
Yes,
sorry. You said to leave, so we're living, we're leaving our open house for our listing. If we don't trust this person, can we leave them there? Or should
yes,
we just say we
no,
have to go,
leave.
something happened?
Leave them alone. The worst thing they
Okay.
can do is damage the house. That's better than damaging you.
Okay.
So leave the house, call 911 and just say, hey,
Okay.
could you send somebody to this address, and just tell them I'm uncomfortable. I've got the heebie-jeebies. Just come and accompany me back into the home. Um, nobody's going to get arrested over that. And that's the smart thing to do. That's what the police would tell you to do.
Okay.
I think Susan mentioned on chat about using forewarn.
Yes. Yes. Forewarn. If you're able to do that in the moment, use forewarn. But if you're not, just get out.
What is that?
Forewarn is a service provided by HAR where you can put anybody's, what is it, name or phone number in there, and it will immediately look up their criminal background and tell you if you would have reason for concern. It's really designed when you get a new buyer prospect or even a seller, and you're going to meet them at a home, perhaps to show them a home for the first time, and you've never met them, you don't know them. Forewarn can give you a little bit of a security blanket or a warning if they have a record. So
That's awesome.
just
Is
go
that
to
free?
HAR and search Forewarn, and it'll show you how to download the app. All right. Have a friend or family member call or text you every 30 minutes, or have a danger word you can use if you feel like you need to, surreptitiously let people know that you're in trouble. When I was a kid, our family had one that was called Black Jacket, and we still make jokes about that. Hey, could you bring me my black jacket? Then we know something's wrong. In this case, you could do something like, hey, please take the chicken out of the freezer for dinner. Whatever it is, have some kind of danger word. When the open house is done, lock the front door first, then close the back gate, then lock up the other doors, and then make sure that the windows are all locked, because it was a huge problem in Houston just a few years ago with open houses being burglarized, and even homes that had been shown being burglarized later the same night, because the folks touring the home would go unlock windows so that they could let themselves in later. This is very, very real. So make sure everything is locked up tight, particularly in occupied homes. Gather all your items up into a box. A box is what I use. I'll show you that on Thursday. Place them in your car in one trip if possible. You don't want to make several trips in and out unless absolutely necessary. Then lock up the home and then go get your signs. Don't go get your signs and then come back and walk into an empty house that's been left open. Okay, so just follow this order and you're going to put yourself in the safest position. And then in terms of follow-up, if you are the listing agent, call the seller with a report on the open house and any follow-up opportunities. Go ahead and call them while you're driving home. Don't wait till the next day. I guarantee you the seller is very eager to hear what happened. They want that home sold. They know you're hosting it open. Get them a report as soon as possible. And if you're not the listing agent, call the listing agent with a report on the open house so that they can report to the seller. And what I like to hear is, we had 6 different groups come through. 2 were neighbors, 2 were just kicking tires, but 2 are actually in the market. One of them's under lease and they're not going to be able to buy for 6 months. But the other is going to be here. They're moving here, be it with relocation. They're going to be here in 6 weeks. And we've agreed that I'm going to start sending them properties, and we're going to set up appointments for their return visit next week. Give them a full report on those who came in, and particularly on any possible sale opportunities. You'll get more and more opportunities with your sellers and with other listing agents if you'll do that. And then in terms of follow-up, what do you do after the open house? Enter all contacts into KV Core with appropriate hashtags. If you are using the KV Core app, open house app, they're automatically going to be put into your KV Core with a hashtag matching the address of the home. Now you want to go in and hashtag them SOI, maybe a particular neighborhood or anything like that. Call them the next day. regardless of their level of interest, to thank them for attending the open house. And if they have interest in purchasing now or later, set them up on an auto email so that they're going to start receiving notifications of homes like the one that they saw. And if you did that on Sunday and it found a few and sent to them, on Monday when you call, you can ask, hey, I noticed that one on Elm Street looks like it might be an especially good match for you, and just develop the relationship, serve them as if you are their agent. And I haven't said it so far. I've been very good and disciplined, because this is one of my little rants I get on. You haven't heard me at any point ask them if they're already working with an agent. Please don't do that, because they're automatically going to tell you yes. Just like when you're buying a dress or a pair of pants at the mall and you desperately need help, whenever the salesperson says, may I help you, you always say, no, just looking. It's an auto response. An auto response from a buyer when you say, are you working with an agent, is to say yes, because they don't want any pressure from you. So don't ask them that question. You just continue to serve them like you are their agent. And if for some reason, some rare circumstance, they are in a committed relationship, they've signed a buyer rep agreement with another agent, I guarantee you they will tell you that. You don't have to ask. You just presume they're agent and serve them like you're going to help them buy a home. Okay? Let me see. Oh, yeah. Start working on your next open house and make it even better. What I try to do with every open house, and I almost always make mistakes with every open house, and I try to learn from it. Sometimes it's because I forgot lessons I learned before, or sometimes it's a new lesson. Last Sunday it was, I need a collapsible broom, not just a whisk broom. And so while I was there at the open house, I fired up the old Bluetooth and I got on Amazon and I ordered myself a collapsible broom. It should be here on Friday. So just try to always get better. If you run short of materials, you know that you're going to need more next time. If it was clunky getting all your supplies into the house, try to think about more efficient ways of packing your stuff and having it ready. I am constantly changing what I do to try to make it more efficient or more effective. And I would encourage you to do that as well. So that's what I wanted to share with you about open houses. I'm going to pause now. In fact, I'm going to stop sharing. And I just want to ask what questions that you have regarding the material or anything else that I did not cover.
I have a
So I
question.
have,
Go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead.
Stephanie, you first.
Yes, so I have a question. Showing this open house this weekend and another time I was there, but everyone had an issue with the neighbors having their boats in the yard. And they
Yes.
don't like to look out their window and see that. So they was asking, well, can I put like some trees or something like that? And I said, well, I don't know that answer right now, but I'm pretty sure you can add like some shrubs there, because the neighbors down, a few neighbors down had shrubs in front of the fence line. So that was an issue for people to actually see that. And I was like, me thinking it's not an issue for me because it really doesn't make a difference for me. But it was an issue for individuals. And I didn't really know what to say. But I just told them, I said, I'm pretty sure you could probably put some
Yeah.
shrubs, but not trees.
So
Probably,
Stephanie, I'm going to guess that home was lakefront, Lake Woodlands,
of course,
selling for $2 to $3 million.
3.3 million.
Okay, I have held that home open before, and I know the boats they're talking about. And
Yes,
you pay that much money, you don't want to look over and see those nasty little boats they got laying in the yard.
you don't.
I would talk to the listing agent about very nicely going and talking to the neighbors, or have the seller go talk to the neighbors and just say, hey, we're trying to sell the home. This comment comes up repeatedly of a concern to potential buyers. The other thing is I would maybe counsel the listing agent, because you're not the listing agent in this case, to talk to the seller about installing a bamboo screen. I don't mean a woven screen. I mean get some
Mm-hmm.
bamboo plants and plant up and down that fence line, because
Yes.
those are 8 or 9 feet tall. Um, when planted, they'll grow to 20 feet tall. And if you don't get a good response from the next door neighbor right away, I would have definitely planted bamboo there a long time ago.
Also, another issue was that a lot of potential clients were stating, hey, paying $3.3 million, is several things that needed a little bit of some updates in there, some paint, some of this, some of that. And I was telling them, I said, everything is negotiable. I said, I will definitely
Yes,
get that information back to the listing agent, but everything is negotiable. So if you decide to get into contract under this home, this could be something that you can negotiate.
that's right.
So, other than that, I just didn't know what to say. But me personally, absolutely, 3.3 million, you should not have to come in and paint. But at the end of the day, if you can get it down a little bit more just because of that, then that might resolve an issue.
Yeah. No, I think you handled that like a pro. You could even say, if you're interested in making an offer, we can make our offer contingent upon the seller addressing all of these issues.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Very good. Anybody else? Oh, Bob? Yeah.
Yeah. Let's say you have a situation, you're hosting an open house, and which is quite common, and you've got multiple bedrooms, you've got kids' rooms, and this one's painted black with, Batman on the walls or situations like that. And of course, if it's your listing, you can address that hopefully before it goes on the market. But if it's
Yes.
not, is there any advice you have on dealing with that?
Well, I would probably do the same thing I said to Stephanie. If people like the house, but they hate the paint, and you weren't able to convince the seller to paint the room before going on the market, I would say, if you like everything else about the house, let's make an offer, and we will include in a contingency that the seller paint that room whatever color you want. And
Okay,
so it'll be
so
done for you before you move in.
but for the open house, you don't really have a whole lot of choice.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't.
Okay.
No. Melvin, were you going to say something?
I wanted to say thank you. That Tomba, one of my listings that we talked about that I had over 60 showings and no offers. I finally dropped the price on it, and then we got about 7 offers since this weekend.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
So
So that's awesome. Are you going to get one of them accepted?
yeah, I think so. They're all good. So it's just my seller has to choose and go from there.
All right. So let me tell you all what I told Melvin. And this greatly will simplify things for your sellers and for yourself mentally. If a home isn't selling, there's only two explanations: bad marketing or high price. Okay, the price is too high or the marketing is not sufficient. And by marketing, I mean not enough people are seeing the home, or they're seeing it, but it's not being presented beautifully. 98% of marketing is a great listing on the MLS. Beautiful professional photos with a great compelling description and complete information on room sizes and school districts and all of that. 98% of marketing is that. If you have that and the home is not selling, then it's a price issue. Price and marketing is what sells homes. That's it. If it's priced right but not selling, then it's a marketing issue. And you want to go back and look at your photos, look at your description. 98% is the MLS. The other 2% is open houses and property boosts and other social media ads, that kind of thing. So if you just keep those two things in mind, it will simplify things for you and for your sellers.
Yeah, I was just off 10,000.
Wow, 10,000. And that's the other thing. You don't want to do price reductions in this market less than $10,000. The market does not notice that. It doesn't register with a potential buyer. You have, and if you're in if you're in this $3.3 million range, you better be making price moves of $30,000 to $40,000. Even 10,000 is too small. It doesn't motivate the market. So then that's painful doing a 2,000 drop, a 5,000 drop. I mean, that's like pulling teeth slowly. Don't do that. $10,000 increments in our typical price range minimum. Okay.
I just did a 30,000 drop. Remember, my house is high,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's
yeah.
why it
Well,
hasn't been selling.
you'll get to the right range quickly doing that. So guys, it's
Frank,
11:13.
real quick, Robin has a question in the chat. Do you see
Okay,
that?
what's that?
She said, how do you get the open house app from HAR or KV Core if it is not your listing?
So the app is available to the KV Core app is available to every KV Core agent, and it is not specific to any listing. On that app, it's you. You're an EXP agent. But when you set up the open house, the specific open house you're going to do, all you do is you put in the address or the MLS number, but it knows it's your account. So even if it's listed by another agent, that doesn't matter. Your app, when people register on your app, that lead is going to go into your account. I've played
I have
with it.
another question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Alexa, go ahead.
So would you, and I don't know how to do this, and I don't know if anybody else asked this question, but staging your house on the MLS, how do you guys do that? Is that through KV Core? Is it through HAR? Or?
So I think what you're talking about is virtual staging,
Yes, yes,
where a vacant home will appear to have furniture in it.
yes.
So I don't think HAR is providing a service like that. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but you would reach out to your real estate photographer and ask for that service. Most of them are offering that now.
Oh, okay.
And
Thank you.
I've got a client who was very concerned. I'll be listing her home within 30 days. It's going to be $850,000. And she was very concerned about spending $25,000 on staging. And I was going to tell her, let's not do that. Let's just do virtual staging, and I'll cover the cost for that. It would be minimal, it'd be a couple $100. And then when people see what it could look like, we could even take photos from the MLS virtually staged and put those in the rooms of the home that are vacant. I've seen that done before. So
Oh, wow. Yes.
it is a
Thank you.
great new tool that will save sellers and us a lot of money. So, okay, so now it's 11:16. We still have a lot to do. We've got to do our speed reports, and we've got some topic assignments, and I've got a couple other things to share with you. We will be done by noon, but why don't we take a 5-minute break, just 5 minutes? And if you have not updated your speed tracker, log into our shared folder and do that. And then be prepared to report on the points of your push partner as soon as we get back at 11:21. We'll see you then.